Welcome to the Give Back Girls podcast. I'm Toria McFadden.
And I'm Anita Cunningham.
Today, Anita and I are thrilled to be talking to Laura Jennings-Mitchell, the Executive Director, and Katherine Dunning, the Clinical Director, both of ABC Counseling and Family Services.
Laura and Katherine, could you get us started by sharing what ABC Counseling is all about, what services you provide in the community, and maybe why you specialize in adoption and sexual abuse?
Yes, thank you for having us today. ABC Counseling was started in 1992 by Lynn Willard. We have two distinct programs. We have the counseling program as well as our adoption program, and our services cover the state of Illinois, really. Our adoption programs is the state of Illinois. We work with both prospective birth parents as well as prospective adoptive parents to grow families through adoption. Our clinical program, we have 4 offices. We have an office here in Normal, one in Springfield, one in the Peoria area, and one in Savoy. And these services really were meant to meet a need that was not happening in Central Illinois when Lynn was looking to start an agency. Our services specialize in childhood sexual abuse, both working with children who have experienced abuse as well as children who have engaged in sexually problematic behaviors. That is just such a specialized services that it wasn't being offered around. But then we offer general counseling as well. For the adoption program, I think she really wanted to start that program because a lot of other agencies who were doing adoption would only work with certain types of parent or parents, and it was just an unmet need there as well. Because people will also often be like, adoption and counseling, like those are two totally separate programs. But it was just for her to meet the needs that was happening. And so she started the agency as a one-woman program, and we have now grown to currently 4 different offices with about 15 providers, and we see about 300 kids weekly. Across Illinois.
Oh my goodness. That's incredible. Mm-hmm. That's wild. I didn't realize it was that many kids. That's a lot. Now, you talked about specializing in adoption and childhood sexual abuse victims. Do you provide services and counseling to other family members that are not kids?
Yeah, so we also provide what we call psychoeducation classes, and those are really like signs and symptoms of sexual abuse or ways to supervise kids who are struggling with sexual behavior problems, and those are for caregivers.
Awesome.
Yeah. We also have provided counseling to adults as well.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Katherine, are there any other types of counseling services that you have in addition to what you've already described?
Yeah, so Laura had mentioned general counseling, which is really referring to counseling that addresses other mental health needs for kids, not specifically trauma-related. So we might see kids who struggle with anxiety or depression, or kids who are struggling with parental separation, or maybe school behavior issues. We can see kids with those problems as well.
Okay. So ABC Counseling was one of our former recipients of the 100 Women for Good Bloomington Normal donation. Could you maybe tell our listeners a little bit about what you guys did with the donation that the 100 Women for Good provided to ABC Counseling?
Yeah, so when we did the application, we were looking to replenish our play therapy supplies, as well as buy new updated assessment tools. The population of kids that we work with range in age from 3 to 21, I would say, and coming, 300 kids. Well, I guess in our McLean County only office, we probably see 75 kids maybe a week, and they come an hour every week. So toys can go through really quickly. And so we needed to replenish those. But also when working with children who have experienced trauma, you typically cannot just sit them down and have a conversation about what their experiences were. And so we need to find ways to meet them where they're at. And play is their language. And so using play therapy supplies like doll houses, puppets, puzzles, art supplies, anything like that is always needed in our office. So with the money that we received from 100 Women for Good, we were able to buy an unbelievable amount of supplies for our office. I think one of the coolest things that we were able to buy was the sand tray cart and all the miniatures. So we actually have 2 of them in the normal office because of the way our office is set up with a number of clinicians. And so we were able, Katherine and I went on a shopping spree and were able to buy all these different miniatures that represent these kids' lives, like either traumas that they might experience or things that are within their house.
Very cool.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. So I'm going to shift a bit. We've talked about all the counseling that ABC Counseling provides. Is this a subsidized service, or do clients pay for this? And along with that, is there any financial support or potential for that with new clients or current clients? clients?
Most of our clients use insurance to pay for services. Many of our clients are on Medicaid. We do hold contracts with local social service agencies in town, and so partnering with them allows like youth in care can be seen by us as well. Or if there's a special circumstance, they might refer to us. We also do have a scholarship fund set aside if there are people who are struggling to pay for a particular reason, and there's an application they can fill out if they're needing that assistance.
We know that ABC has amazing counseling services available for youth who've experienced sexual abuse. But as I was looking at your website, you talked a lot about prevention as well as counseling. So could you tell us a little bit more about the work that ABC does around prevention of sexual abuse?
I think prevention has always been a big goal of ours. Our society is really reactive in nature rather than proactive. Statistics have shown 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 5 boys will be sexually assaulted by the time they're 18. And while I don't believe we can ever completely diminish and reduce that, like totally reduce that number, I do think that more progress can be made in that. There are some other providers in this town who are doing some as well. And so we don't want to step on any toes, but we want to make our services available to others. There is someone out there named Erin Marin, and she's the one that implemented Aaron's Law across many states at this point. She came and spoke in Bloomington Normal, I think 2 or 3 summers ago, and some of us had the privilege to hear her talk. And I think something that really stuck with me from her talk was she talked about when she was growing up, she went through the DARE program at school, which is something that I went through. And she held up her DARE card, and she was talking about how everyone was taught, say no to drugs, don't do drugs, this is why they're bad, and all this stuff. No one was talking to kids at that point about your body and what to do if someone touched you in an inappropriate place, or even like helping you understand like what proper terminology for body parts was. And so she had some abuse experiences and really was pushing for legislation to change. And because of her, now that Aaron's Law is in all these different states, kids are receiving okay and not okay touch in public schools. It's an exceptional thing. I hope all 50 states pass it. Pritzker also passed recently, within the last few years, about talking to high school freshmen about consent and sexting. And so that is something, like we are going into some high schools and talking to health classes about consent. Anything that we can do to help kids understand like body safety, like even if you have a young kid and you're teaching them their body parts, you're teaching them eyes, nose, mouth, talk to them also about their private parts. Don't stigmatize those body parts so they know what to do and who to tell if and when something happens to their body that they're not okay with.
Yeah.
But then also working with kids on what healthy sexuality is.
Yeah, because how do you, by the same token, you don't want to stigmatize sexuality. It's healthy, it's natural, but if they've had a dangerous experience in the past, they need to be able to differentiate good from bad.
Correct.
And that has to be very confusing for young people.
Yeah, and we're talking to them about what do you do if Susie in your class hits you?
Right. The touch comes in a lot of forms.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like okay, like a punch is not okay, but neither is like showing someone your private parts or touching their private parts.
Whew, what a nuanced conversation, especially for young kids.
It is. It's hard. And that's what Katherine was talking about with those psychoeducational classes. Like we can talk to parents about how to have those conversations with kids. And we have gone into, like with I'll put it under the prevention umbrella. We have gone into some of the local schools where some of our providers met with the parents and talked to them about internet safety and how to have these conversations, while other providers met with the kids in different age groups about how to have like healthy internet behavior, because sexting and pornography is an issue that our kids are facing this like now that was not an issue as much when we were all growing up.
Well, yeah.
So you're talking about current needs. They might be emerging ways to handle current needs or past needs. But I'm curious what emerging needs there are as well for your clients, and maybe any projects you have in the works.
I would say it's a lot of the healthy technology use, is probably one of the biggest things that we're fighting with our kids right now. Like helping parents understand how to put safeguards in place, as well as working with the kids on why just because all their friends are sending inappropriate pictures, they should not also, and understanding like the legalities behind that. I would say we don't really have any current projects just because because of the wait list that we're seeing across all of our offices. We've had to have a mass hiring, which is great, but also not because of what that means. So I think that our biggest project right now is getting enough therapists in place to help make a difference in the communities that we serve with getting kids into services.
Well, that's a pretty good project.
I mean, you have a lot on your plate. I don't envy that at all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty good project. Speaking of your projects, this is one of our favorite questions. We understand it may be a little difficult with the sensitivity of what ABC does, but we love to ask about meaningful stories or just impactful scenarios that you've experienced in your time at ABC Counseling. So is there anything that you can share, obviously keeping things anonymous and safe, but is there anything that you can share that has been particularly impactful for either of you?
Yeah, I mean,
Laura has a good story.
I think there's a couple that I've been with ABC since 2003. And so like over that time, I've had a lot of clients, but there's some that have always just stood out to me. There was one client, I think I spoke about her at the night at the 100 Women for Good night. I met her when she was like 15 and there was suspected abuse. And she really struggled to talk about what was going on. And then she was going to have to testify. And so she had reached out to me and wanted to disclose to me prior to disclosing at court. We ended up working together for several years. She's an exceptional young woman. After she graduated high school, she went on to college and graduated college and then got her master's and became a therapist herself. Oh my gosh. And she just, like, we've maintained contact all these years, and just talking to her about like her recognition of how much she hated the abuse at the time. And while she wishes obviously no one would ever go through it, she understands that it is just one part of her. We talk a lot about puzzles, and it doesn't define who she is as a person, but she understands that it is part of her story. We were able to do some really good work. Like I said, she's just an exceptional person. I also just think it's really cool watching these kids because we tend to spend 1 to 2 years with some of these kids, and we get to watch them grow up and walk with them through their own journey. And just like, I don't know, like I don't even know how to describe it. Like when they're not able to talk about what's going on with them, we become their safe people, and they see that we can talk about it, and just watch their growth and just the different things that they do. But even like with the play therapy items that we were able to purchase, when kids can't talk about what's going on, we can buy like items that help them talk about and process their emotions through and their experiences through the play therapy.
Yeah, I was thinking about clients who I've had who have felt safe enough to come back later on in their life to come see me again, and I think that's really meaningful that they had a positive enough experience the first time that they're able to seek that out, that help in the future if they need it. And yeah,
safe spaces doesn't expire.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's important.
That's really cool. Well, you guys do amazing work, and just the population that you guys talk with on a daily basis is some of our most at-risk people in our community. So just thank you for being on the front lines and being there for them.
And not everyone could do what you two do. So Thank you again.
No.
You've shared a lot of great information with us. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners?
I think what I like to keep saying lately is just like, again, back to the puzzle piece that, there's lots of different pieces. And when I was talking about the 100 women money, I was talking about how people don't think that what they're doing makes a difference. And I want people to know that everyone can be a part of other kids' healing and journey, even when you think you're not, being like an open ear and an open heart for people to talk to. Sending a pack of crayons to like a therapy, like a counseling agency, like the colors of the world markers, so kids can have markers that look like them, just how important that is and what a difference that makes to people. And everyone is a part of these kids' healing.
I absolutely love that. And I think there's probably a website that we can put in the show notes to let our listeners be able to donate just those very items. Do you want to tell our listeners what the website is now, and we'll put it out in the show notes?
Yeah, it's abccounseling.org is our website.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. Easy to remember. abccounseling.org. Make sure you're looking it up and go into that donate link.
Well, I think that about wraps us up for today. Laura and Katherine, thank you so much for joining us and doing all the important work that you do. And thank you to ABC Counseling and Family Services for being in our community and doing all the important work that is done there.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So glad you were able to join us. And thank you to all of our listeners. As a reminder, our new episodes drop on the second Sunday of each month, so be sure to find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Before we sign off, as always, thank you to the Illinois State University School of Communication for studio use, technical production, and editing services.
And as always, go out and do some good and give back.